Good morning, Big Square, roadrunner.com with your morning horn of Z's, your sip of coffee. Another day, another bank bailout. It's just getting bigger and bigger too. Yeah, 3 days in a row, repos, overnight repos. This one oversubscribed again, even by more. $9 billion oversubscribed. Or, yeah, 9. Liquidity short is getting worse. Fed's repo oversubscribed even as funding demands jump. For those hoping that the dollar shortage and overnight funding crunch would ease on the third day after the GC repo rate exploded as high as 10%, we have bad news. It has not. As we warned earlier today, when we previewed the results of today's repo outcome, the only question would be whether the amount of bids submitted into today's operation would be higher or lower than yesterday's, 80 billion. To get a sense of whether the funding pressure is easing, the answer, with 83.875 billion in total bids submitted, not only was the 75 billion operation oversubscribed again, but the total liquidity shortfall rose by almost $4 billion compared to Wednesday morning. Furthermore, the fact that the operation was again oversubscribed means that once again, there was one or more participants who did not get up to $9 billion in critical liquidity they needed. What does that mean? It means their derivative book is going sideways. This is all about the derivatives, my friend. At the end of the day, the back end, derivatives on derivatives on derivatives, companies are being gutted as we speak. So yes, this will be the third day in a row that the Fed has bailed out the overnight repo market. Remember, these loans just last 24 hours. Overnight money is supposed to be the cheapest. It's going up and up and up. As a matter of fact, right here, some charts for you. Fed funds print 2.25, breaching target range. Just after Powell at the Fed yesterday said, "Oh, we got to keep it within the range." Nice try. Didn't even last 12 hours. With the Fed's repo operation oversubscribed for the second day in a row, as $9 billion in liquidity requests remained unfulfilled by the $75 billion operation, it's perhaps not surprised that as the funding shortage persists, today's effective funds rate printed at 2.25%, which, while down from 2.3% yesterday, was for the second day in a row above the top end of the range, in this case by 25 basis points. So stuff like this drives derivatives crazy, drives the Fed crazy. This is not supposed to happen right over here. That's not supposed to happen. Furthermore, now the Fed's interest on excess reserves was cut by 30 basis points on Wednesday to 1.8%. It means that the effective funds rate is now a record 45 basis points above the IOER. Look at that. Does that look normal? Does that look like a well-run, well-oiled machine? There is no way out of this. I keep telling people, there is no way out of this. There is no way out of this. I'm just saying. We'll see what happens, right? All right, let's take a look at Deutsche Bank. We haven't talked about Deutsche Bank in a while. Exclusive, Deutsche Bank has discussed adding assets to bad bank if sales go well. So the bad bank they set up, I think it was $79 billion of bad loans that they had, and bad assets, meaning losses. Basically, take all your losses, set up a separate branch so that nobody, the people funding the operation don't even look at this. What? It's ridiculous. What it's really being done for is a bailout of the bad bank. So you can say, oh, here's the good stuff left at Deutsche Bank. Well, they did $75 billion, and everybody said at the time, it's not enough. It's not enough. And now they're talking about more. Some senior Deutsche Bank officials have discussed the possibility of putting additional problematic assets worth billions of euros into a unit it created earlier this year. If the bank is able to sell assets already held within that bad bank, according to 3 bank sources. The discussion in recent weeks, which has not been previously reported, are preliminary, the source said, adding that there is nothing imminent, which means it's about to happen. A Deutsche Bank spokesman said there's no plans to add additional assets to the so-called capital release unit or bad bank. Deutsche Bank needs more capital to be able to absorb the losses So basically, they're asking people for capital so that it can absorb. Basically, asking people for capital that they know they're going to lose money on. You invest in Deutsche Bank, you know you're going to lose it instantly. And they've been doing that all for the last 10 years. After raising 29.3 billion euros or $32 billion in capital over the past 9 years, it does not have room to ask investors for more, the sources said. What do you mean it does not have room? It has plenty of room. The problem is those investors lost their ass. For investors still nursing a 75% fall in the bank's share price over the past 4.5 years, it means that the road to recovery for the bank will most likely be very long. Deutsche Bank is a dead man walking. A dead man walking. But so are all banks. JP Morgan, a classic one. Hey, for all you guys saying there's no way to beat these guys, and who's got the balls to stand up to the likes of JP Morgan and friends, here's a really good article about one individual, just one guy going up against JP Morgan, and he worked at JP Morgan and he's a whistleblower. Now remember, the DOJ is about to bring up RICO charges against the largest bank in the world, JP. Johnny Burris, JP Morgan whistleblower and American hero. This is in Forbes magazine, September 15th. Who would have thought that a half-white, half-Korean boy from a lower-income, predominantly Hispanic neighborhood would be involved in a tussle with the titan of finance and its army of Ivy League attorneys, says Johnny Burris. Dude, I want to meet you, Johnny. Come to a Bitcoin Ben meetup. This is the kind of people who are going to take down the cabal, the bad guys, as Dick Allgaier calls them. These are the kind of people. It's you, it's me, it's Johnny Burris. I'm no hero, Johnny Burris told me. Fighting a desperate battle against one of the largest banks in the world has unlimited financial resources doesn't make me a hero. Maybe not, but Burris, a former JP Morgan financial advisor turned corporate whistleblower, has taken a principled stand against what he sees as corporate greed when most would have run for cover. Like many other whistleblowers before him, he has endured sleepless nights and years of professional, personal, and financial stress. That's heroic in my mind, absolutely. Oh my God. Just reading that, you think about, if you've been a silver investor for the last 20 years like I have, the what do you call it? Endured sleepless nights, years of personal, professional, and financial stress. That's been my life for 20 years in the silver market. That's why I fought so hard. You think it was easy? Hell no. Just reading that, I get all choked up. All the shit we had to go through because of these criminals. Why do you think I get so pissed off about Blythe Masters and Jamie Dimon and the banking cabal? Personal, professional, and financial stress. Absolutely. Those of you who've been in this fight with me, you know exactly. Bill Murphy, he's one of the sweetest guys you'll ever meet, has been absolutely destroyed by these criminals. If anything, they should be taken down for what they did to Bill Murphy's life. And most of us in the gold and silver markets. No mercy on Blythe Masters and Jamie Dimon. No mercy. Nope, nothing. String him up. I would say I would ring him up on treason charges for purposely trying to destroy my country. Treason, punishable by death. If the evidence proves out, that's what should be facing Blythe Masters and Jamie Dimon and anybody else involved, which means Citibank as well. That's the next hammer to fall, by the way. If you're looking for the next silver hammer, look at the second biggest derivative holder in silver, in the U.S. at least. Citibank, the other criminal operation. HSBC, Deutsche Bank, they should all be brought up on treason charges. They all have operations in the United States. And they all rigged the markets and endured and created sleepless nights for any investor and years of personal, professional, and financial stress. They need to pay big time. But what are they doing right now? They're still rigging the markets. Everything's under control. Market riggers are still absolutely there. Why hasn't there been a cease and desist order on JP Morgan's silver operation? They are the largest derivative holder. They're still, unbelievably to this day, the custodian of the ETF, SLV ETF, run by BlackRock, another criminal organization who colludes with the likes of JP Morgan. BlackRock is going down as well. But they're out there rigging the markets every day. Look at the gold price, look at the silver price. 100% rigging every single day. People ask me, well, wow, they announced the charges. Why hasn't silver gone crazy? Why hasn't gold gone crazy? Because they're still there rigging it. Did you see a cease and desist order laid on the table at JP Morgan, at Citibank, at Deutsche Bank, at HSBC, at Scotiabank? Not yet. But when they do, you're going to see a freely traded silver market. And that's going to be really scary because it'll destroy the banking system. Watch for it. It's part of the good guys' plan in the Road to Ruta theory. It will be silver that destroys the banking cabal. All right. So Road to Ruta is on a roll. And lately, if you haven't been tuned in. So let's talk about cryptos. We're getting a very critical point in cryptos. If you look at the Bitcoin wedge, everybody's talking about the Bitcoin wedge. It could either go up or down. All the technical traders, what they don't understand is it's rigged. It's rigged via computers and derivatives. It doesn't matter if it goes up or down. They're going to rig it wherever they want. But I think the good guys have control. I think they're going to rig it higher. Keep an eye out. But here's the caveat. The back system comes in place, Monday? The major control mechanism for Bitcoin? Don't trust them. I'm telling you right now. This is the cabal moving into the cryptos. And you're not going to be happy in the long run. They're going to ultimately get destroyed, but you're not going to be happy. They will always be hanging out there with their derivatives, ready to slam the market whenever they feel like it. Luckily, I've been watching this crap for 20 years. I kind of get a feel for it. Depending on their reporting, what they're required to report. Like in silver, they're required to report their positions. We know where JP Morgan is on that. It'll be interesting to see who participates in the back system. And will they break it out in commercials and retail? Probably not. It's probably going to be, you don't need to know. You're on a need to know basis. But backed is criminal. The ICE system created by the oil riggers back in the 80s. And then they bought up all the exchanges because the board members of the exchanges, you own a seat on the exchange. You were part owner of that exchange. They didn't want the liability because they knew it was a huge fraud, so they sold it off, went public, and then ICE soaked it all up. ICE is going down, but not today. Let's talk about this. Road to Ruta came out vehemently against EOS. I saw the fraud. I saw the people. It was a con from day one, just like Steemit. It was a money grab for the original people, and then they ran away. Dan Larimer is deep state all the way. Well, here's an article on EOS. Everyone's worst fears about EOS are proving true. The takeaway. EOS is the world's 7th largest blockchain by market cap, with a value topping $3 billion since February 2019. However, the project has long been plagued by fears that its structure was too centralized. And now that the lion's share of entities that govern the chain are in China, prompting fears of state intervention. Again, centralization, first of all, you can't trust people in the next system. People lie, cheat, and steal, especially when it comes to money. You can't trust EOS, the 21 block producers who collude every week on a conference call. I warned everybody, especially because the people behind it. I call them the crypto cabal. The guys at Block One. Bad, dark people. Anyway, EOS contributors devoted to building decentralized apps and development tools for the blockchain are losing clout and making little or no money from contributing to the health of the ecosystem. One of them publicly disavowed the blockchain earlier this month, citing the excess power of the largest EOS token holders. Absolutely, they collude and control EOS. Block One, the company that launched the code in a crazy ICO, if you remember, $4.5 billion ICO, complete money washing fraud with the Ethereum and Bitcoin wash trades. Oh, it was crazy. One hand feeds the other. Ugh. Block One, the company that launched the code behind EOS following a $4.1 billion ICO, is the largest token holder. Critics say it could easily redefine governance on the chain, but has yet to take action. Duh. Starts with the people, especially in a proof of stake. Proof of stake, what it is a gigantic, it's not even gigantic. It's a spreadsheet. It's not even that fast for a spreadsheet, but it's all it is a spreadsheet. Great for CryptoKitties. But who warned you? Who warned the world? I wasn't the first. I was the loudest for a while. Yeah, I think EOS is going to go away. And you think, well, if everything's going so badly at EOS, why does it have so much transactions? It's all bullshit transactions. 10 billion transactions per second or whatever they claim is nothing. None of those are financial transactions. It's all bullshit. It's like Steam It. Dan Larimer's deep state operators set that baby up. And who makes money at Steam It? All the original producers, the people who control it. You look at the people who make money on Steam It, and you're like, why did this thing make all this money? Because they control that entity. It's a fraud. It's a con. EOS is the same. I'm not saying everybody in EOS is bad. Not at all. But the controllers are. Block One is. Dan Larimer is deep state all the way. What happened to their big breakthrough? This gigantic thing is going to change the world. The Facebook thing. What do they call it? Voice? What happened to that? Where is it? Again, you start with the people, you analyze the people, the company, and then that's where I stopped. That's where I stopped. And the ICO, that's where I stopped with EOS. I said, this is bad news. People are going to lose their shirts on this. And it's useless. Thank God not many people use it for real financial transactions. Thank God. Can you imagine billions of dollars being transacted on the EOS blockchain, knowing that at any point they can steal your money or cut you off, or China can come in and cut them off? Proof of stake. It's difficult, man. It's not good. Can't trust people in the future, and you especially can't trust these guys. All right, so having hit all these great hits on the road to Ruda, I've started going back in the archives just for my own. I had a dream last night about more information on Satoshi. Yeah, I know who Satoshi is, and I've talked about it, and I've posted an article on the private road. I brought it. This goes from a while back working with the RV guys over at Crypto Viewing. They did an amazing RV on Satoshi Nakamoto. That I work with them for analyzing it, and and it's on the private road. I'm not going to move it to the public road. I promised those guys I wouldn't move anything to the public road without their say so. Go ahead, but it's still on the private road. Posted it a while back now. But yeah, you want to know who Satoshi is? Go to roadtoruda.com, join the private road, hit subscribe today. Really cool analysis. It's going to blow you away. And you also get a silver coin and 100 Theta tokens and 500 Theta fuel, and it is all happening, my friends, on the road to Ruda. Crazy stuff, I know. It's been a long time coming. But I used to always say the road to Ruda, I don't get everything right. I don't know the whole way this is going to shake down. But I always said, in the long run, the road to Ruda theory will be the closest thing to anybody else's theory out there. And no, it's not the evil dark lord taking over our world. And the reason, going from the Grand Canyon gold to the creation of the Fed, to the good guys within the Fed taking out the system, It's all true. And I've explained it a million times. Just go to the Road to Ruda website. Again, watch that first video. Introduction to Ruda, discovering the road to Ruda. It's going to blow you away because it's all happening now. It's all happening now. So that's what I got for you this morning, guys. Hang in there. Watch for more bank bailouts. We're going to get to the real stuff in a couple weeks. At the end, remember, it's the end of the quarter for the United States, the end of September. I have a big Friday road trip for private road members tomorrow about the in-game from the Road to Ruda documents. So much of it is actually happening right now that I haven't talked about, but I'm going to talk about it in the post tomorrow. So keep an eye out. And again, if you want to join the Road to Ruda, now's the time. This is Big Weir, roadtoruda.com. Talk to you later.